All right, welcome to our first store review. Today I'm taking a look at Aloha Sunrise Granola. I've actually tasted their granola, it's fantastic. So I'm really excited to actually taking a look and see how we can improve this site. The way I'm going to structure it, I'm going to start on the desktop view. I'm definitely going to toggle to the mobile later. You guys know most of our traffic is coming from mobile, so we definitely want to take a look. But this is not going to be a complete nitpick of what we can do, but this is for a business that's working, they're busy, so this should be actionable steps and improvements they can make to immediately see some benefits. So hopefully all of us can learn from it, and let's actually take a look. The first thing I want to review is just the overall flow of the page, and then I think I'm going to go section by section. We can talk a little bit how I would improve it or change it. Now, the very first thing we want to take a look at is the navigation and this entire above the fold section. And what's standing out to me is that, yes, I see it's granola. Yes, I see it's artisan made. And just to give you guys a hint, I've actually went in and take a look at the site before just to make sure I'm not spending too much time thinking here. But the very first thing that stands out is all I'm seeing is you're selling granola, which may seem obvious. It feels like that's the right thing to do because that's what you guys are selling. You're selling granola. But is it really granola? And the reason why I'm posing it this way is because why, from a customer perspective, why should I buy your granola? And this is not a critique. This is just the honest question we have to answer. And the funny thing is, and this is why you shouldn't feel critiqued too much about this, because I know you're answering this question, you're just not answering it on the very first page, on this above the fold section. So the question we always have to go through is, I'm a stranger on the internet, I see your brand, I click the link, and then I'm seeing granola. If you really think about it, the moment people buy granola, either it's something on the way to the grocery store, they already know, oh, we need granola, I'm going to buy granola. So you're not necessarily targeting a granola buyer. It's your granola is doing something else that we should really point out, and this is absolutely call-out worthy, that I don't know right now. Right now I see this as granola. Well, I do have my favorite granola brand, so why would I ever buy from you? Because this is a risk to me. I don't need it. Again, this is a customer speaking. And I only want to bring up the chart that I will bring up very often, and some of you guys already know this, but every time we sell something, and your product is granola, so we think, but we have to wonder, what is the current situation of our visitor, so who's coming to our sites, what are they looking for, what is what they want to achieve, and then how does our product get them there? This is going to sound a little bit cryptic, but just stick with me for a second. So for example, your granola, it's not someone that is looking for granola, is buying granola, and then they have granola, because your product is very different from store-bought granola. It might have less sugar. It might be better ingredients. It might be just healthier. So the current situation of the buyer would be looking for a healthier granola, because the store-bought granola is just not an option because it's filled with sugar, it's filled with high fructose corn syrup, depending on what brand you're going with, and you're looking to have a cleaner alternative. And or current situation could be, I'm actually not eating granola because granola is unhealthy, but I love granola. I would love to eat granola. And then your product, and this goes for everyone, so everyone who's watching this, your product is the bridge between the current situation of our customers and the desired situation. So we could position now our product not saying, hey, this is granola, but we can say the granola made for people that don't eat granola, or a granola, like the healthiest granola you can find. So this is something we want to call out here. It's not just say this is, and it's funny because you're thinking in the right way. You're saying it's an artisan granola made mindfully. So you're thinking in the right direction. I would just question, what is it, like why is artisan special? Why would someone say, oh, I want an artisan granola? Because we assume it's going to be healthier. Mindfully, it's healthy. And the only reason why I was saying I know that you've answered it, because I click through your story, and when I take a look at our story, your story is really good. And there's a reason why you put our story at the very top in the navigation, because you think everyone needs to read our story and then everything is going to make sense. And I'm just going to read a short section of it. I know how hard it is to find a granola that's truly healthy. Most of what I found contained processed sugar, preservatives, and was often made with genetically modified or treated ingredients that were grown with pesticides. As a result, I was never a fan of granola until I learned how to bake my own. That's it. This is why anyone would buy a Lower Sunrise granola, because usually you can't eat the store-bought. We have sugar, preservatives, we have genetically modified ingredients, we have ingredients grown with pesticides. So this is funny enough. Like, this is a great about us story, but we have to put this front and center. As soon as someone comes to our site, what we want to say is, instead of saying an artisan-made granola, that we have to somehow highlight that this is not just a standard granola. This is clean. This is healthy. This is less sugar. This is no preservatives. This is free from genetically modified food. Everything you called out has to be in this first section. So what I would recommend is probably do a split. Use the section that we have in our community, the image with text section, or the new hero banner. I would have granola on this one side, or you can even do a full screen banner like this. Just make sure you have the granola focused on one side, and then we add text to the other. So I would move this to the left of it, and I would probably use something similar to what Olipop is doing. Let me show if we can find it. So this is in terms of layout what I would probably do, but see what they're also doing. They have to fight that they're not just a soda, they're actually healthier. So they use icons everywhere. This is the wrong section right now. Let's take a look at the product page. I've seen it somewhere. The story, let me see, it doesn't allow me to click. So for example here, they say immediately high fiber, non-GMO, 4 grams of sugar. So I would definitely follow their strategy of calling it out everywhere. But I would definitely use a banner where we feature your granola and at the same time call out immediately why your granola is different. Again, just be very specific. Don't hide in these words, mindfully and artisan. Don't hide what that means. Say specifically, and I know you describe it a little bit here, but I'm not going to read this. I just see granola, artisan made. All right, it's probably going to taste good, but I have my granola. So have something very upfront, the healthiest granola you'll ever taste, or it doesn't get better than that. And it's just something about who your target audience is, and who you know your audience, you know your customers. Just call it out right away. All right, let's move on. So this is, and for everyone who's new to e-commerce design in general, spend 80 to 90% of your time getting this section right. Because if people click and we don't convince them in this section, they will actually never scroll. So we have to be super, super good at optimizing this section to make sure, okay, guys, I'm interested. This sounds amazing. It's a clean granola, maybe less calories, less sugar. Great. It's keto approved. I don't know anything about it, but just something we feel like, or most of our customers are looking for these products because whatever the reason is, put it right there. And always phrase it from a perspective of a customer. So don't say, hey, we make this by hand. Say we made this by hand, so, and then always talk about the benefits. So you don't have to worry about eating this, or it's easy to track, or never irritates your gut, or now I'm just talking, but this is how we want to phrase it. Feature product. This is, I'm just going to scroll through this entire store because it basically ends there. I would split it up a little bit. What you're doing is technically really good. All we want to do is, hey, this is our granola, and then let's buy our granola. I would just split it out. Here you show all of your products. I know you have your gift card in there as well, and it's a little bit confusing of what am I buying, and everything looks a little bit different. So what I would do is I would start just featuring just your granola. Just say, hey, buy our granola, and just one product. Or even if you have them split into the different flavors, just say, hey, here, like, buy our best sellers, and it's going to be granola 1, granola 2, granola 3, and they should all look the same. So I actually really, really like the look of this one. This is, I don't know if this is rendered, but I do see the shadow. So this style, fantastic. We're going to talk about the product page in a second. So this is what I would do. Just say, we have the hero section. We have maybe some icons underneath. If you don't have them in here, I would put some underneath that call out non-GMO, no sugar, or anything you want to call out. Put them right underneath. So even people, before they click on a product, they have to know why your product is different. And then we just want to have an easy access to the product. I would even drop the headline. We don't need to call it featured products because it's just the only products you have. We only want to feature the granola. the base granola, so you don't want to do the samplers here, because I would do underneath, I would do a single product, and that's going to be the sampler. And I would give it a little headline like, don't know what taste to pick or want to try them all, get our granola sampler with all of the different flavors. That's how I would do it, so you don't have to confuse people with a list of, should I buy this granola, or what's the difference between the mason jar refill and the blueberry granola, and can I get the mason jar and blueberry? So it's a little bit confusing. So all we want to do is, hey, this is the healthiest granola, buy granola, our best-selling granola. Underneath, not sure which granola to buy, get our sample kits. That's pretty much all you have to do. And then by default, just by doing that, you also get rid of the gift card. That's just to look more professional. We're going to get rid of the bulk option. I wouldn't feature it here, or I would feature it with a different image, if not even as just a separate section underneath. Then in the footer, very simple. I would just drop one of the email signups if I move my face. Oh, we only have one email sign up. I would drop this one and just add a pop-up, and just so people can get 10% off maybe if they submit their email. And then this is just basic Shopify. Drop the country and region selector, drop the currency selector, even though it's not necessarily displaying here. I know it has it with the region. It's just going to give us more space, and then these are going to move to the middle, and then you're going to have a very slim footer. It's going to look much cleaner. Also drop the follow with shop. People usually don't do this. For bigger brands, makes sense. Right now, I would just remove pretty much everything people aren't clicking, and then everything else is looking good. Now, one thing I still want to cover is, let's do it maybe a little bit more section by section now. I would go with a different color, just because you have colors here already, and the ones that you chose, I don't think they go really well with granola in general. I would definitely go with a little bit more earthy tones. Go or pick colors from your logo. You have this nice gradient of an actual sunrise, so I would go with a lighter color like this, and you can definitely copy what Olipop is doing. You can even absolutely do the exact same colors, just the variation you can see, just having one contrast color. For you, this could be either your more in the orangey tone, like you have with at the bottom of your logo, the sunrise part, or the actual aloha, like the dark purple as a contrast. Pick one of those two. You can definitely keep a plain white as a background. I would definitely contrast it with something like this, probably a little bit lighter, more in the oat type of color, just so as that's like a common tactic if we want to feature something as the Whole Foods, organic. Also the classic move that McDonald's did back in the days when they added the salad, they rebranded into just a lot of wood, a lot of green colors. I wouldn't use green for you, but just go with like a little bit more oat color. And for the font, I'm going to show you the difference now. We definitely have to use a darker font here. Check out the difference, how hard this is to read in comparison to your story. Very easy to read. And I know it feels plain, black text or dark text, but that's totally fine. We definitely want to have something dark, so it's easy to read. It doesn't have to be black. Again, I'm going to bring up the example of Olipop. They use the dark tone of their contrast color. So we have this one, this is like this darkish green, and then this is the same green tone, so it doesn't have to be a clean black. It can be definitely something dark, so you can use even the darker version of your purple. It just has to have a bigger contrast, otherwise people are going to struggle to actually read it, and yeah, that's going to make things harder. In terms of navigation, I would here, again, this is just in the Shopify settings, drop the currency selector and the region selector, and then move the logo to the side. Reason being is we want to optimize everything. I'm going to move my face again, so it's a little bit big. We want to optimize everything for the what's called the above the fold section. So the more space we can gain here, the more we can show underneath. The goal for you would be to have either Aloha Sunrise, your logo in the middle, and then move the navigation to the side, or move your logo to the side so everything folds up, and then the space that we gain here could be the space underneath where you show all of your icons. Imagine you had here, the headline moves up here to the left, you have your product to the right, and then underneath you say non-GMO, organic, no sugar, like everything you want to call out, you show underneath with clean icons, and then everything that has to be said is pretty much already visible on the first section. This would be a very clean setup, And I would be surprised if you didn't see improvements just with that one change. Here would just be the color change. For the free shipping over $75, I don't know your average order value. I've seen some granolas to sell between $6 and $10. To get the 75 is a hike. So I would either, usually when we calculate what's going to be the cutoff to get the free shipping, you kind of want to incentivize people to be a multiple of whatever they would buy. So for example, if a product costs us $6, or let's do 10 because it's easier. Let's say this refill, I think it costs 10, costs $12. If we were to do 75, then we had to do, let's see, we had to buy over 6 times or 6 of these refills to actually hit that. If the economics just don't make sense and you realize you can't offer free shipping until that certain volume, then I would probably remove that and do a different offer. It doesn't have to be free shipping. It's like, hey, buy 2, get 1 for free, something like this, or buy 2, get a free sampler kit. Just something to incentivize them to spend more. If you want to do free shipping, in general, the rule is make it an increment of or multiple of your average order value. So when someone spends 12, you don't want to do 75, that's hard to reach. The best case would be, for example, we have a sample kit that costs $6, we have this that costs 12. So you want to do, hey, spend $17 and you get free shipping. And what they would do is, and then right underneath we feature the sample kit, and then they realize, oh, wait a second, if I add the sample kit, which costs me $6, and they save $5 in shipping, then that's going to be an easy way to buy more. Whereas if I just want to get 1 refill, I would never fill up to 75. And this is just me, so I don't know, customer data might differ. Just keep that in mind. You want to price it where for them it almost feels like a no-brainer to add a little bit more just to reach that threshold. And if you realize, you know what, I can offer free shipping on product, like on a $12 or $18 order, just change that to buy 1, get 1, or something else that makes sense for your business. It doesn't have to be free shipping. Let's talk about the product page. I think I've pretty much covered everything that I wanted to on the homepage. So on the product page, the color change, the font color is definitely going to make a big difference, just because this is going to be really hard to read, and the more strain we have, the harder it gets. People don't read, so I would definitely change this to a darker color. I would probably drop your brand name here. Not super important. The only reason why we like to do this is because everything they buy from you is from you, so people assume it's going to be from you. I would instead, once you have the integrations, I would instead feature reviews here. If you don't have it installed yet, and I also haven't seen an email pop-up, I definitely recommend installing a review app and then have just a review automation whenever someone's buying, send them just like the form to review as a thank you, combine it with a discount, or even when you sell them in person, just reach out to people. Would you mind reviewing it? And this is like an easy way to actually boost your reviews. You drop the decimals, perfect. Let's actually go step by step. Here, I would probably go with a drop down. This is a little bit a lot to read, and it's not very symmetrical, so it's hard to actually understand everything. I would just use the other type. Whenever you go to a customizer, you can just toggle it to be a drop down list, and then it's just going to say basic, and when I toggle it, I see everything underneath. It's going to be much easier to consume, and also it's going to be very space efficient, so we can show more. For the basic, I'm not a huge fan of the basic. Basic just means like it's kind of worse. I would do the classic. I would rename it to classic. I know you have the basic on the branding as well. If you get the chance, or if it makes sense to you, maybe consider renaming it to classic and then just other tastes or other flavors. Everything else is fine. I would drop the dynamic purchase options. This would, if you click on buy buttons in the customizers, just a quick toggle, it's going to remove the buy with shop pay. Main reason is because we can get people to the cart and then upsell them in the cart. That's also when we take a look at the bigger brands. Let me see if it allows me to open it. You'll always see we only have the add to cart option, because once we add to the cart, we're going to get the upsell. So that's just a best practice. Otherwise, that's looking good. And then what's going to be very, very nice for you is splitting your description. Make it a very short description and move it up here. So have title, price, a very short description. And then your ingredients, you actually want to put in a collapsible row so people can see immediately ingredients, maybe nutritional value to 2 collapsible rows. You can do this via meta fields. Just watch the training in the course, how we can do this, the product page training. And it's going to look very, very clean. Let me actually show you if we have an example here. Is Olipop doing that? So this would be a great example of icons you can have underneath your hero image. I don't think they're using collapsible rows to actually put everything in here. Yeah, they don't have anything else to say, but just take a look at the product page guide. Definitely drop the share button. We haven't seen any data that people actually click that unless they click it by accident, which we kind of want to avoid. So we don't need the share button. It's space saved. And then in terms of product images, I usually like if you can feature it. I really like the style of the new product images. Looks very professional, highlights your product great. If you can, since it's a refill for your jar and you do have the time to do a little bit of a product shoot, I would just add a little bit of images, how people would restock their jar with it. You can also go into Pexels. Maybe they have some. It doesn't have to be your content. Let me just see, maybe if we go granola jar, just as a showcase of how it could look, like something like this. This is just going to add a little bit more just feeling to it, and usually it's always the best practice to show people how they can use the product, so the product in action. Otherwise, this is looking good, and then you may also like, I would change it. I mean, I know this is coming from Shopify automatically. I would actually hide this section, and instead I would do my own collection or even a featured product. And I would either say, not sure which flavor to pick, buy our sampler. That's going to be an easy upsell. Or depending on your business data, if you realize everyone that buys this one also wants to do X, Y, so whatever they're buying, X, Y, Z, we promote it. But I just wouldn't show all of the granola because people are already buying the refill. I would just say, hey, do you want to try new flavors? Then try our sample pack. And you can also do this only for this one. So we kind of want to understand the customer journey. Someone who buys a refill means they have purchased before, usually, unless someone just wants to save on packaging and get the jar. But if we know that people who buy this have purchased before, then we want to have a custom product page for them because they are now first-time buyers. So I would then rename this, like I briefly touched on, just saying, hey, want to try a new flavor, buy a sample kit, or get maybe 20% off of a single purchase, something like this. And then for all the other product pages, we would call out probably the different flavors too, just with a little bit of a different headline. You can do this via product template. And then here I would change the color again. And also with the product images, I would definitely, if you have the chance, I would see if you can either have them rendered, 3D rendered. If you have the logo, you can definitely do this with, you can just render granola packaging, or pretty much do the exact same, whatever you did here. This looks fantastic. Do the exact same just with these packages, just so they look the same, and then remove the background, the white background, and then you can just change the background color here, maybe again to an earth tone, and they're just going to hover really, really nicely on that tone. Another thing you can do, this is a minor improvement since you already have the hover effect installed. So the hover effect is that every time we hover over it, we show actually the second image of the product. This is a fantastic chance to show, and I have a great example how Olipop is doing. So whenever I hover over this, I mean, this is very custom, so of course yours is not going to look like this, but we can again just show the product in action, and then for you it would just look amazing if we have, for example, this shot, and then you hover over it, and then you see something like maybe a bowl or like something like this, so you can see kind of the granola in action. And this is just a great way for us to talk about again, or to showcase how healthy it is, and kind of give the feeling, the demonstration of it. I'm just going to take a look at this product page. Size selector you can leave like this. You only have to just change the font, the color. Ingredients, yep, I would definitely do the ingredients in a collapsible row. Very easy to do. And the nutrition label as well. Add a collapsible row. Put the nutrition label in there. I like you have multiple images here. Yeah, just make sure it just looks a little bit cleaner. Other than that, that's pretty much everything you have to do. I would then, again, let's talk about the navigation again. I would drop the home, and instead of Let's Shop, I would probably just rename it to Shop or Shop Granola. And then find us. Yeah, this works. You can also rename it Store Locator, but this works. FAQ, I would probably add the FAQ. I would summarize it and add the FAQs to the product pages. Other than that, kind of works. If you want to redo it, what I would do is use collapsible rows again. So you have all the questions would be a row, and then you click on it, and then this shows, so you can have a very clean overview. And at the bottom of the page, point to your products. Just say, hey, let's browse our granola, so people can just, whenever they are, wherever they are, they can continue shopping. And yeah, other than that, that's gonna look fantastic. Just getting these changes in. I would take a look at Olipop, just in terms of kind of the direction I would want to go. So we have a clean product. We have highlights on the left. For them, people already kind of know who they are, so they don't have to call it out too much. But definitely then we see it on the product page. The first thing they say is, this is not just a soda. It even says on the product, supports digestive health. So they call it high fiber, non-GMO, 4 grams of sugar. So of course yours is going to look different, but this is kind of what I would aim for. Just immediately say, this is not just granola, it's the healthiest granola, and here are the 3 reasons why. They did it with a custom section. You can definitely just do it via, we have an image template on Canva. You can just drop it in and make it an image. That's definitely going to be the easiest. And I would definitely just copy a little bit from them. You can either have a custom section underneath or do a collapsible row and then show reviews as soon as you have them. So the big ones are potentially switch colors, definitely different font color. Let's go back. Let's quickly review the mobile too, just to make sure we didn't forget anything. I'm going to switch it to 100. Yeah, so we can shorten this. If you have a different header, I would definitely shorten this to something calling out how healthy the granola is, and then make it easy to shop the granola, and then underneath call out the sample pack, get rid of the subscribe to our emails and the selectors. So that's definitely going to shorten everything. And then let's take a look at the product page itself. Pretty standard. The drop down here, get rid of the buy with shop pay, group this into its own individual sections with the collapsible row, remove the share. Yeah, and you're gonna look so much better. You're gonna notice. And then if you haven't yet, install an email pop-up. You can use the form builder that Shopify has. That's free. You can use eCommerce, that's free as well. And what else I would do if you haven't yet, I would install, depending on how many sessions you get or how many people visit your store, I would install Hotjars, and that's just going to let you allow to browse what actions people are taking. And the very last thing is I would get a review app like Yotpo or Judge Me. There's so many. Just get any of those and install the automatic email collection or review collection. And what that does is whenever someone purchases, they automatically will send an email saying, hey, I hope you liked our product. Would you mind leaving us a review in exchange for a discount? And this way you can collect reviews, display them, and then just like slowly build up. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And I would love to re-review it a couple weeks in, depending on how long you take. And yeah, I think you have a great product, tiny tweaks, and people will actually understand how great your product is.